Welcome to Whiskey Mountains. I'm Adriana, and today we are going to be talking about Stagg Jr. Batch 17, so the second release for 2021. Today kind of worked out with just all the best sort of timing, where Nick just got this bottle this morning, and today's probably the last day that this area of the Wasatch Front is going to be open, because it should be snowing today and tomorrow, and they have to close this road except for snowmobilers. So we're on the Mirror Lake Highway. It's just this gorgeous scenic area, and I figured perfect spot to bring a very special and hard to get bottle to a hard to get place up in the Wasatch. So the Stagg Batch 17 is the second. It's the second release for 2021, and this is actually the last junior of the Stagg Juniors. They're going to be dropping the junior, and from here on out, it's just going to be Stagg. So at MSRP, which is what we can actually get it here in Utah, it's like $50 to $60, and this one is 128.7 proof. So a little bit lower of a proof than the majority of them. Normally they hit right around 130, but honestly, it's not that far off as far as proof. So I think the last time one was around this level was batch 13, so just a couple years ago. But again, it was like 128 point something. So if you're not familiar, Buffalo Trace, the distillery that makes Stagg Jr., has kind of two major mash bills for their bourbons, a lower rye and a higher rye. The lower rye is thought to be around 10% rye, and that's what this Stagg Jr. is. It's from mash bill number 1. So yeah, let's get this sucker in the glass. The bottle still doesn't feel cold or anything, but I will say it's harder to open when your hands are partly frozen. All right, we've got it here in the glass. Normally for my outdoor reviews, I like to have tried it a few times inside first. I'm reviewing fairly accurately to, what it's like inside kind of deal. But obviously I'm just opening this one up today out here on the trail. So I will go back inside and kind of film indoors probably, and maybe compare back to batch 16, which I also have and love. So, but I do know that with Buffalo Trace, just in general, on mash bill number 1 products of theirs, they tend to be that much sweeter profile. So I'm definitely expecting that here. And I want to kind of do this quickly out here so that I'm not letting it get too cold before, really getting into the flavor. I'm getting a lot of the oak. Like, that's what's really coming forward, is just this oaky profile. Ooh, she's yummy. She drinks easy. I found that with Stagg Juniors in general. This is 128 proof, and it is not coming off with a lot of burn or anything like that. You definitely get cherry. Like, it's just cherry and oak. And I wasn't getting a lot of the cherry on the nose. That could be because I'm cold right now. I get brown sugar, vanilla. It's definitely very sweet on the nose. Like, vanilla frosting is what's really coming forward, mixed with that oak, which I really like it. I'm not surprised at all, but I really like it. Oh, I'm enjoying this a lot. I think a lot of times being outdoors, for one thing, it makes it a little less sweet and more earthy, which is something I really enjoy. I don't like things to be too sweet. So this might be one that I'm just gonna love outdoors, even more so than indoors. But the cherry that's coming off isn't coming off at all medicinal. And I'm just getting, like, not just cherry, but even like a little bit of raspberry, just like some red fruit kind of thing. And vanilla, like a vanilla frosting. So I don't know if it was like some kind of vanilla cake that had a raspberry and cherry compo. I don't know. If you were trying to get nuts with flavors. Oh, it is quite yummy. But you are getting that oak. And I think, oh, that's so good. I think one of the things that's really nice about it is it coats the mouth, and that finish is lingering. And that's what you look for, right, in a whiskey, is in a good bourbon, is something that's going to have a nice finish that's interesting. And in the finish is where the oak is definitely coming a little more present, with just a touch of pepper, but not too much. It doesn't burn like crazy. You know, that ethanol, it's not coming off super ethanol forward at all. Very easy to drink. I actually got to try a batch 8 in a blind flight recently on my live, like on a live stream, and definitely did not guess that it was 130 proof. Thought it was like maybe in the 1 teens kind of thing. So I think Stagg Jr. just does that beautifully, where it doesn't come off too ethanol forward, but it's that high proof where it just brings the complexity of flavor. And it is so, if you can get it for like 50 to 60 bucks, we get it, Nick was telling me it was $50.52. So here, now that's pretty hard to get, but if you could get it that way, oh my God, get all the bottles you can. But I'd honestly pay up to 80 to 100 for a Stagg Jr. Like I said, I do want to try this again inside to really see what it's like, but I'm loving it outdoors. Not all whiskeys hold up to being outdoors. This one very much does, and I'm loving what happens to it out here. But let's try it inside and then also compare it to the batch 16 and maybe see which one I like better. But before we do that, make sure that you like and subscribe. I figure, froze my butt off out on the hike. Now let's drink the way I really like to. And if we're all being honest, the way we all really enjoy to, not sitting in front of our bar as a backdrop or at a table, but all nice and cozy on the couch to watch football or whatever kind of thing. So we've got the Stagg Jr. batch 17, check. And we have an appropriately colored Glen for it. Let me pour a good pour. We're warming back up. And while I'm at it, we only pretty recently got our Stagg Jr. batch 16. So this is the one that is 130.9 proof and is from earlier this year. So I'm actually going to go ahead and pour that and drink them side by side. And I've got some color-coded glasses to make it easier to track. So red equals batch 16, green equals batch 17. There's no reason for that. And I'm using my comfy little lap desk here, you know, because we're all cozy on the couch, so why not? Now, actually, I just poured them, but I'm actually going to go ahead and let them sit out for maybe like 5 minutes, honestly, not super long, but just to give them time so that I can really get into the nose. I feel like I get much more out of it once I let it sit and air out. So, plus this way I can test my camera setup and audio and lighting and see if I actually did it right. Okay, back to being cozy, and now it's only been a few minutes, not very long, but let's dig into them. All right, so back to the batch 17. I really wish, I don't care about whether it has Junior on the bottle or not, or if the antlers are blue or not. I think that's going to be happening soon because of repeating a proof. You could just make it really easy on us and just put the freaking batch number on the bottle. Like, why won't you do that? So on the nose now, indoors, and having let it sit out just for a few minutes, I am getting so much more chocolate. And it's not so oak forward for sure. But again, that proof is not hitting you in the face. Batch 17 is 128.7 proof, and it is not punching you. And there's only just like the hint of kind of a grapiness more than a cherry right now is what I'm getting. Making it dizzy, making it dizzy. Yeah, I'm just kind of getting that grapey chocolatiness. I dig it though. No, my cat might come join the party. Sorry. Wow. So now, and I think I did a pretty good job actually out there in avoiding letting the bottle or my glass actually get too cold or anything. But now I definitely felt more of that proof on the tongue right there up front, that first sip. And also it's been a bit. I've gotten home and set up and whatever, but it's been a bit since I had a sip of whiskey, so that was the first one. So there we go. Now I feel like I'm adjusting a little bit more. It's funny because I felt like I was getting more grape on the nose, but on the palate, I am getting more cherry and chocolate. And a bit more of the oak is coming through. And the cherry is not a medicinal cherry at all, just something I really don't like. It's just kind of a nice light cherry sort of thing. In fact, earlier, for me, I really like to study up and try to read other reviews and things to see what of those notes and what of their opinions I agree with or disagree with, but also just to kind of get a better representative opinion, because I feel like I'm very much still learning, and so I want to give as accurate of a review as possible, if that makes sense. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of reviews out yet on this, but I did watch a channel, I just discovered it, it's called What We Drankin, and one of the gentlemen in that channel mentioned that the cherry reminded him of, like, in the fruit cups, you know, like in middle school, those little plastic fruit cups, little bits of cherry in there. And I think that's a really good point. Like, it's very much that light, fruity cherry as opposed to, you know, medicinal cherry or even the cherry syrup that comes in the jar of cherries or whatever for an old fashioned. Like, it's not that sort of sharp, heavy cherry. It's a very light fruitiness. And I think that's why I like it so much. But I'm liking this one. It's not coming off too sweet. A lot of times, I mean, I really enjoy the Stagg Juniors, but normally I get more kind of a candy sweetness. Let's see if I actually get that again now with the batch 16. One more sip of the 17. Yeah. There's kind of a cola note, so I guess kind of like a cherry Coke sort of thing going on. I really, really like batch 17. Okay. I mean, I haven't met a Stagg Jr. that I didn't like, but 17 is hitting it. All right, let's take a sip of water. You can get this beautiful water bottle at whiskeymountains.com. Link is in the description below. Okay. Okay, now in the red glass, I've got batch 17 or batch 16. So this is the earlier release for 2021. And batch 16 again is 130.9 proof. Now this one's coming off more sweet, more like a cotton candy kind of thing going on. Definitely more candy. I still get that grape note. I get that grape note more strongly than on the 17. Yeah. Oh, now it's funny. Coming back to the 17, I get much more of the cola on it. Going into the 16. Ooh, I do like that one a lot too. It's really not overly sweet either. My first batch that I owned was batch 15, thanks to an awesome viewer, Young Pei Chang. And that one's sweeter, though I love it. I think this one tastes more grape on the palate, whereas for me the 17 tastes more cherry on the palate, but also a little bit less sweet, I think. There is something about the balance in flavors on the 17 that I really, really like, and I like more than the 16. The 16 is really, really good too. It just feels more like flavors are kind of jutting out in weird directions, whereas the 17 actually feels a little more cohesive. You feel that hug, you feel that finish just really lingering. Like I said earlier with this when I was outside, it coats the mouth and you get a finish and you get a beautiful vanilla sweetness. And I feel like a lot of times in the finish, that's where a lot of the spice comes forward or the ethanol comes forward. But this one, there's a beautiful sweetness that helps make that finish just really enjoyable. But wow, those are delicious. If you can find them, unsurprisingly, I highly recommend getting it, you know, assuming it's at a reasonable price in your area. That's always the hard part. So, but hey, if nothing else, you know, however you drink it, if you drink it with a view or if you drink cozy, just I hope you enjoy it and can enjoy it with this video. So, thanks for joining me on Whiskey Mountains. Stay cozy, my friends. Salud.
It's freezing out here.
Guess it helps if I have my mic. I'll put him here and here. I wish something was on my feet because my feet are still cold.
It's cold.
babes. My cat's interrupting. We'll be right back.